Joining us from Portugal is Hugh Griffiths. This is a man who knows a lot about sanctions on North Korea. He was, until last year, the coordinator of the UN panel of experts monitoring these sanctions. Hugh Griffiths, this is an extraordinary film, extraordinary piece of filmmaking. Don't you find it surprising that these two imposters were able to infiltrate so deeply into the North Korean regime?
Yes, I do find it quite surprising, but the film is extremely credible, and it is undoubtedly the greatest embarrassment for Chairman Kim Jong-un that we have ever seen.
Because for those who haven't seen it, we do see a number of officials sitting around a table in a mall, for example, allegedly doing a deal, showing a weapons catalogue. There's a lot of detail about what's on offer.
Yes, there certainly is. It shows the North Koreans to be both desperate, foolish, but still dangerous at the same time. Desperate to raise foreign currency revenue and to find new transporters to try and smuggle their weapons to countries such as Syria. Now that the pressure of UN sanctions has started to bite. Foolish not to have done their due diligence on private businessmen rocking up to Pyongyang before offering to sell them ballistic missiles. And dangerous because they are offering to sell weapons of mass destruction, WMD delivery systems, which are what ballistic missiles are, to private businessmen about whom they know nothing. And instead of being investigative reporters, which they were, these private businessmen, they are non-state actors after all, could have been representing terrorists. So this documentary is a very far cry from the propaganda video that Chairman Kim Jong-un and his colleagues put out for general circulation yesterday. It's quite far.
This story takes us through years. It takes us from Denmark to North Korea, Uganda, talks about Syria, they go to Beijing, Jordan, Cambodia. I mean, when we see, for example, the images from Uganda of people on an island welcoming in these imposters to build a factory, have you seen any evidence of similar deals ever being done by the North Korean regime?
Yes, in Namibia, and it's in the UN Security Council panel of experts reports from 2016 and 2017. You know, the North Koreans did build an ammunition factory in Namibia, in the Leopard Valley at the site of this old disused copper mine. So they do have experience of building underground facilities, ammunition factories in Africa, and of course, they're littered all over North Korea, nuclear sites, underground nuclear testing facilities, ballistic missile storage sites, ammunition factories there. We've never seen the North Koreans offer to build a methamphetamine lab underground. However, that's certainly new.
What lessons do you think diplomats around the world could learn from what we see, particularly about the activities of North Korean diplomats, as told by this film?
Yes, so that's very, very important. Amongst the humour and entertainment of this film, it's very important to note the role of, say, the North Korean embassy in Sweden and the way in which the diplomats there pass architectural drawings of this ammunition factory, this methamphetamine lab masquerading as a hotel, to the foreign middlemen. And in about 75% of all North Korean sanctions violations investigated by the UN over the past 10 years, we've really found either the North Korean embassies, the consulates, the trade representative offices abroad, or North Korean diplomatic passport holders and service passport holders as being key to their proliferation and sanctions violation efforts, because they abuse the diplomatic privileges afforded diplomats. So UN member states, in particular places like China and the Russian Federation, really have to pay far more attention to what North Korean embassies and diplomatic passport holders are doing on their territory. And of course, Sweden has been caught out here, and one must hope that their embassy in Sweden will be the subject of intensified scrutiny from here on in.
Hugh Griffiths, we have to leave it there, but thank you so much for joining us to talk about this rather extraordinary documentary. And as we say, the embassy in Sweden has declined an interview. You're watching BBC News.